So in the mini story video, we talked about starting your story from the moment of change and working backwards. And I want to talk a little bit more about the moment of change. It's something that develops throughout the story, and you have to kind of think of it in three parts. You have to show the character very clearly before they change, so that your reader can see the difference between the before and after states. Then you have to show them kind of struggling through the change in the middle, and then you have to show them after they've changed at the end. And the operative word there is show. It's much more interesting when you show than when you tell a reader what is going on. Consider the fact that we talked so much about how Percy Jackson changes into a confident hero, although nowhere in the story does it actually say, "And now I felt more like a confident hero." You see it. It is shown to you rather than told to you. So you, as a writer, need to do the same thing. Show rather than tell. And there are three major ways to show things. You can do it through the actions of the character, something that the character does, the internal thoughts of the character, and through the dialogue, what the character says. So this next pre-writing exercise just involves drawing a chart in your writing journal, showing the character's actions, internal thoughts, and dialogue through the three steps of the moment of change. So at the top, I wrote my character, Todd. I did call him Evan at first, but I decided I would rather call him Todd. And then the change that he learns to take responsibility for his dog and learns to compromise, and he sacrifices the game to go and find his dog. So here is the chart: actions, thoughts, dialogue, before, during, and after the change, the moment of change. So I'm going to just show you what I did with the before. So it works like this in the story. So everything in red is something that I've added to the original mini story that I wrote. And here I write, on the morning of the big playoff game, Todd came down the stairs. Lucy was standing where she was every morning at the bottom of the stairs, her leash in her mouth, wagging her tail expectantly. Todd, just as he did every morning, walked right past her, his mind on the game. So that's an action. That's something that he does, and it shows you right there that he's all wrapped up in himself. There's his poor dog sitting there waiting for him to take her for the walk with her leash in her mouth. How adorable, and he just walks right past her. It doesn't say anything here about, and Todd, who was very selfish and self-involved, doesn't say that. I didn't say it, I showed it. So back here, this is just what I wrote in the chart. He sees the dog holding her leash. She walks past her out of the house into the park to practice his pitching. So I changed it a little bit there. He just keeps walking into the kitchen, but the bottom line is that he walks past her. And then the next one, he's thinking about, these are thoughts, what he's going on in his head internally. He's thinking about how irritated he gets when his dog tilts her head and looks at him like she wants something. So over here, I have it in the story again. Todd looked down at Lucy. She was sitting looking up at him, the leash still in her mouth, her ears pricked forward and her head tilted expectantly. Todd felt a stab of guilt, followed quickly by irritation. Why did she always have to play on him like that? Couldn't she understand that he had important things to do? So that's an internal story, and by the way, a couple of tough questions there. So that's another way that I am showing that he is self-absorbed. He is not thinking to himself, why does she always have to do that? Because I'm so self-absorbed that I can't think about her. He is just simply thinking about, why does she always have to do this? Because I have so many more important things to do. And then finally, dialogue. What could he say? What can I have this character say that will show that he is self-absorbed and only thinking about himself? Can't someone else feed her? I'm busy. Why do I always have to do it? And that shows up in the story here. Come on, Mom, can't someone else do it just this once? Why do I always have to do it? Today's a really big game and I've got stuff to do. Now, for the purposes of the pre-writing, you don't have to do anything with your mini stories. You're just doing a chart here that you may or may not use later. And I've just shown you how this might work in the actual story itself. But for the purposes of the pre-writing, the actual exercise is just the creation of this chart in your writing journal.